apparently sarin gas was delivered from Turkish territory to Islamic State fighters in Syria in 2013. They say officials knew about the deliveries, but the case was closed. Well, the opposition MPs say they have evidence too to back up the allegation, and indeed they presented it in Parliament.
A prosecutor said that some people in Turkey have contacts with the terrorist organisation ISIL, supply and transport the key ingredient of sarin.
We spoke exclusively to the MP.
Chemical weapon materials were brought to Turkey and put together in ISIL camps in Syria, which was known as the Iraqi Al-Qaeda at the time. We have recordings to confirm this. A public prosecutor opened an investigation which led to those involved being detained. A week later, another public prosecutor was assigned and all the detainees were released. They left Turkey, crossing the Syrian border. The phone recordings in the indictment showed all the details of how the shipment was going to be made, from how it was prepared, to the content, the labs and the source of the materials, which trucks were going to be used, all dates, etc. From A to Z, everything was discussed and recorded. Despite all of this evidence, the suspects were released.
Well, the incident Eradication recounted took place in 2013. In August that year, rockets filled with sarin struck a Damascus suburb. Turkey blamed the Syrian government at the time for the attack. Eradication again thinks the two incidents are linked.
There's a high probability that it was carried out with materials shipped through Turkey. It was claimed regime forces were behind it, but in my opinion, examining the dates and the indictment, the Syrian government didn't have sarin gas. It was the attackers who possessed it. As far as I understand, this case was closed, just to place guilt on the Syrian government. The shipment is through Turkey, but all basic materials were purchased in Europe. Western sources know very well who carried out the sarin gas attack in Syria. They know that these people are working for Al-Qaeda. The West has been hypocritical over the whole situation.
We contacted the Turkish prosecutor's office for comment. We haven't had an answer back yet. Eradication refused to show us the documents he was talking about and the phone records over fears it would violate state secrets and be considered treason. At the time of the alleged smuggling, there were also multiple reports of Turkish authorities detaining people in possession of sarin. When Moscow followed up on that, Ankara dismissed it, saying the seized agent was simply antifreeze. Let's check out some of the stories today. Russian warplanes are providing air support to the opposition Free Syrian Army in their fight against Islamic State. The Russian Defense Ministry says dozens of strikes are carried out every day.
Some 5,000 Free Syrian Army troops, together with government soldiers, are on the offensive in Hama, Homs, Aleppo and Raqqa provinces. The number of such FSA units is on the rise. Russian aviation is carrying out from 30 to 40 airstrikes every day to support them. We also supply them with weapons, ammunition and other material support.
Our team's Medina Kochanova reports next on Moscow's cooperation now with the Syrian opposition.
Now, there's been a number of reports before that the Free Syrian Army had been providing intel data to the Russian air forces that are currently based in Syria. Now, Russia, in response, is providing air support in their combat missions on the ground in Syria. Now, this also goes against all that criticism that Russia is choosing some wrong targets, as these targets are now coordinated with the Free Syrian Army on the ground.
Why would the Syrian opposition give coordinates to Russia if Russia was bombing them? How does it square with these claims?
Well, I would say, I'm not going to speak directly to the claims. on this. You know, I simply can't do that.
Now, at the same time, Russian air forces do continue their cooperation with the Syrian state army, as well providing air support in their combat missions against ISIS on the ground. Now, why this is being done? Just because all sides currently involved in that conflict have the same enemy, and that's, of course, ISIS and the spread of ISIS across the region. Now, according to the recent Syrian peace plan that was negotiated back in Vienna, Bashar Assad and forces loyal to his regime, as well as the opposition, have just no other way but to cooperate for reconciliation. And Moscow, in that particular process, plays the role of sort of a mediator. For sure, this is one big step towards uniting all parties involved in this conflict, involved in the current fight against the spread of terrorism.